Hey everybody, I'm getting on here fairly late, but I'm getting on here. And let me go and I'm trying to get my Discord channel for my live stream help. Let's see, going live. Going love? No. Let's make sure we get this correct. All right, and let me bring this up. Excellent. Okay. And I want to make sure that I can see the live stream, live chat. Yep. Oh. Got to make sure we like this stream here. All right. And we will see if we have any live chat. All right, so updates. I believe I'm going to quickly go in here and reload this page. I'm waiting for SpaceX to decide that they want to stream this thing live. Supposedly, we're going to have a live stream today. All right. Oops. Sorry about that. I need to shut off my audio here. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. I want to make sure that I can see. Good to see you again. Yes, Donacha. Good to see you too. And Lolkex. Hey, everybody. Good to see you all too. We are awaiting. I'm looking. We've got currently, we've got rocket venting. We've got ground venting. We've got lots of things. Link, please. Oh, gosh. Tronicum, if you look on my web page, hopefully it will show up. I do not have it. Hold on one second. All right, good to go. Yes. Carter, yeah. Michelle or Mitchell? Michelle, I guess. Hello, doctor. Hello to you as well. All right, let me look. Tronicum, it should have popped up on your feed. Let me see if I can find the actual link here. Sorry. Sorry, folks. I'll get there. Just getting started. I'm a little bit late to the game here today. Sorry, had other things that I had to do. So, Rubik's apparently needs a fourth monitor. Okay, hopefully that is the actual live stream that we are working on. So there you go. All right. And from my Discord channel, if you all could let me know if you see, if anybody could kind of like reload the SpaceX feed, because they're supposed to be having a live feed coming up a few minutes before the launch. So obviously I don't want to get in trouble with, copyright strikes and copyright violations, etc. So I am keeping away from like Boca Chica Gal and so forth, because I still do not have permission from them, unfortunately. But anyway, as soon as we get an actual live stream feed from SpaceX, I will kick that over. So you can see right now I've got the web page pulled up, and Starship serial number 9 is sitting there. Actually, if you look at the live view right now, we've got Starship serial number 9 and 10 going, which is pretty impressive. I'll show you just like one quick second. Oh, wait, I need to turn this off. I'm going to get a copyright strike even though I'm not actually showing it right now. I actually had it streaming, but it wasn't showing up. So anyway, so if you look on, I will give you some other options. Not that I want you to move away from what I'm doing right now, but there is Boca Chica Gal or Lab Padre. There is Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. There is What About It with Felix, who's wonderful. All my German friends love Felix. He's awesome. So, all right. On a scale from 1 to 10, how hyped am I? Rubik's, yes. I've been so busy with other things today that I'm starting to get hyped right now. That's what I got to say about that. I was kind of like watching things and I was really busy and scattered all day, but now I'm getting super hyped. I really want to see this happen. Let me see if I can, I want to see if I can pull up some audio here just in case I need it. Oh, goodness. There we go. Okay. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to bring up the audio so that when the time comes, I can actually like listen to it too. Because there's something pretty cool about that. All of that is excellent. Shawshank, yes, we definitely have venting. We have both ground venting and we have venting on the ship itself. So I don't know if anybody... Do you know the channel Wham Bam Tesla Cam? Loghex, I do not know that channel. That actually sounds awesome. Anybody think they're going to... ABL, I do think they're going to land successfully today. So I believe that's going to happen. I think that with the helium pressurizing tanks, they are definitely going to land today. Well, Shawshank, they are definitely going to land today. ... Yes, we just don't know if it's going to be in one piece or not. So I guess the first thing we should concentrate on is whether they're actually going to take off or not. there was a German advertisement in front of the stream for Tronicum. Well, there you go. I actually, something popped up on my went live too, but I forgot to look at what it was because I was too busy getting ready. So anyway, yeah, they'll definitely land today one way or the other. It could be like serial number 8, in which case it's in a whole bunch of pieces, but I think they're going to manage it in one piece. So real quick, just in case anybody, what do we have? 32 people watching. All right, cool. In case anybody is interested, we have, let's see, the profile is going to be the tank, the ground tanks are venting, which means they're charging up, pressurizing the Starship. Then the Starship is venting, and as far as I can tell, it appears that they've got a decent amount of frost on it and so forth, which indicates that it's going to light. They pressurize the tanks. They have 2 header tanks as well. The header tanks have very small amounts of propellant in them, oxygen and methane. They take it up with three Raptor engines. They'll get up to about 10 kilometers of height, and if they do it like serial number 8, they're going to do it very, very slowly. They won't, take off like they're going to orbit. So they'll just kind of creep up like this as they go, and then they're gonna, I guess, turn out each engine so that they can get one at a time. They can sort of see how it works at different amounts of propulsion, etc. And then I think they were working on like kind of rearranging where all the fuel was and everything. But anyway, at that point, when they get up to the top, they'll cut off the last engine and the vehicle will fall backwards, and then they'll tip it. You see how it's got 4 fins on it, and those basically act like your arms. If you're skydiving, to control yourself, you move your arms and your legs around, so it'll act like that. They'll belly flop down, and then just a few hundred meters before they hit the ground, they light the engines up. And this was where the problem was with serial number 8. Let's see if I can do it this way. They light the engines up, they kick it over like this. It actually overcorrects. The engines come on, they start shooting down, and then they kick down and they land like this. So the goal is for them to land right near where they took off, and hopefully they won't miss by too far, because serial number 10 is hanging out like right next door. It looks super close in the video. I think it may be further away because of forced perspective, but they look like they're super close together. So anyway, hopefully it will at least be accurate, and I certainly hope it doesn't explode. But the problem that they had before was they were trying to use what's called autogenous pressurization, which was they pressurized the header tanks because they need those little balls to be full of propellant separately from the main tanks, because the main tanks are almost empty, and when it's on its side like this, it can't, gravity is not pulling fuel into the rocket engines. It's like keeping it down at the bottom. So they have these little ball tanks that are completely pressurized, and they were using gas coming off of the main engines to pressurize it, and that didn't work. So temporarily they're using helium to charge those up, so we shouldn't have that problem this time. So if everything goes well, I don't see any real problem with them actually being able to land this time. It should work very well. Oh, everybody, okay, live feed. I think SpaceX is going live potentially. I'm getting so many different. Let's see if we can. Starship. Maybe we got a live stream. I'm not seeing it. Stream is fine for us. It's fine in Germany. Okay. Let me just go. I'm going to try to load a couple of different pages and see if I can get this to. Still not seeing. All right, let me go to the SpaceX's homepage. Let's go back to here, SpaceX. All right. I'm hoping we're going to get a live stream here shortly. Still says upcoming. Okay. So I will keep this kind of open, and we will see what happens with that. So Dan is good with the live stream. Tronicum. Okay, I've got people on Discord this time. They're going to help me. Okay, so SpaceX is going live. Does anybody have the actual URL? Because I am kind of trying to reload that right now, and I'm not seeing it popping up. Okay, so YouTube. Oh gosh. Okay, you may have to give me just a moment here. All right, let me see. Watch. If I don't get this right now, I'm going to attempt to. All right, let me try to bring up a different page here real quick. So, all right. Sorry. Give me a moment here as I pull up these extra. No, don't switch, please. Okay. Starship. Nope. Okay. Here we go. Let's see if I can pop this open. Yes, I do want to load this. Okay, I'm working on it here. I'm working on it. Here we go. We've got a live stream happening. Oh gosh, it says 1 minute. Let me try to get this thing up here real quick. Oh goodness. Oh gosh. All right. And kick that one off and kick this one on. All right. Oh, we're seeing it. Excellent. Okay. So it says 47 seconds. My goodness, that came up fast. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff going on live feed wise, but I will definitely let you, I will talk to you and I'll try to answer your questions, and I'll have Discord do that in just a few minutes. I'm going to put on my headphones. I can't believe we're at 34 seconds. Woohoo. All right. I may be slightly delayed in terms of all of this. So, anyway, I hope that we, oh gosh, my video. I'm noticing that my video is like super duper backed up. I'm really sorry about that, but it's going to be there. It's going to be live. There we go. Okay. 15 seconds. 14. Oh gosh. Oh no, did it stop? Oh no. Oh wait, it's running again. Okay, it's running. It's running. It's running. I got 7, 6. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Let me move myself out of the way here so I'm not bothering. Oops. Oh, there we go. Oh, yes. Yes. It's going up. This looks better already. I swear this looks better than the last one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes. Come on, baby. Oh, my gosh. That is impressive. Sorry, I got to I'm going to cause myself problems. Oh, wow. Oh, this is so cool. All right, sorry. I'm just geeking out right now. So you can see that there are 3 Raptor engines right now that are all going, and you can also see that it's going at a pretty slow speed. I think it might be going faster than last time, though. It definitely looks... Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the noise because it's too awesome. Oh, man. So yeah, you can see it's actually a very clear trail. Methane burns very cleanly compared to most of the other propellants, except for hydrogen, of course. But wow, okay, here it goes. Here it goes. We're 1 minute and 2 seconds. Fingers crossed. Now I think they've cut it down to only 2. It looks to me like there's only two engines running now. So I think they're doing that same flight profile. So they cut out each engine. And then as they cut each engine out, it goes slower and slower up so that they don't go past their 10-kilometer limit, because they got in trouble with the FAA. They apparently did not do properly. So, wow. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I can't quite tell. SpaceX's stream is laggy. Yeah, it's a little laggy for me, but I'm doing okay with it. Wow. I'm kind of catching a couple of different streams on my main computer, and I got my laptop going. All right, so the exciting part here, yes, it looks like we're down to maybe just 1 engine going. I can't tell if it's 2 or 1, but we definitely have cut off at least 1 engine. So we've got some, wow. I'm noticing that my stream is almost 40 seconds delayed. Sorry, folks. But anyway, you'll catch it real time. So I'm looking, it looks like we're down to just 1 engine. And again, I think it's more or less hovering at this point. It's not really going up anymore. It's just kind of floating. Oh yeah, there it is. Definitely 1 engine. So it's floating. And then we should eventually see it cut that off. And I think it'd probably be in about 30 seconds or so. If yeah, see, so they're venting out propellant right now. Okay, they're venting. So now the engine should actually cut off relatively soon, I think, because I think what they do is they dump fuel to make the ship lighter, so it basically doesn't explode as much as it comes down, but also just to help them as it's coming down to make sure that it doesn't. It's not too heavy as it's coming down. So, boy, it's really hard to tell. They might still have 2. I think they might have 2 engines still running. It appears to me like there's 2 actual little tails coming off the end of this thing. Wow. It is amazing how long they just hover this thing. So, again, this is not like going into orbit. Going into orbit, they would be going full blast, and they would be taking this thing as quickly as they could up out of the atmosphere and then get it going horizontally very rapidly so it could orbit the Earth. What's happening right now is that they're just hovering the ship because they're testing out the engines. They want to give them a good long burn, and they want to drain as much propellant as possible out of the ship. And then, wow. Okay, so I think, again, they're draining propellant. So again, I think they're getting rid of as much propellant as possible so that the ship is lighter when they cut the engines off. So if this SN8 version is anything to go by, I think it should be really soon. Like somewhere around between 10 and 30 seconds from now. Somewhere between 4.5 minutes it should cut off, at which point it will then fall. It's about 10K up in the air, and it should start falling and it start to belly flop, and then we'll see that whole entire motion going. So here we go, 407, 408. It should happen. I think the entire flight took just over 6 minutes last time. So the fall, of course, is very rapid because gravity is a lot. It's once they cut the engine off and it stops fighting it, it's going to go down quickly. So, okay, some more venting. So clearly they're trying to get rid of that propellant. Okay. It's about to get exciting, people. More venting. Oh, I think it's falling now. There it goes. It's falling. Holy crap. This is the part that just blows my mind. There's nothing too terribly interesting about it going up, but this, it is super nose down this time. What is happening? Oh gosh, did they go too far off track? Okay, it's leveling out. Okay, it's leveling out. Gosh, that thing was did you see that? It was going like this. Sorry, get the right angle. it was making some serious tracks back towards the landing. Okay, now it's completely flat. So clearly what they're doing is they're using this, and it looks like they're attempting to control the whole thing, and now they're going backwards slightly. So again, this is going to be sliding through the air. Oh, look at that view. That is so impressive. Holy crap. Wow, that is beautiful. Just astounding. Oh, man. Okay, so it should actually be only another 30 or 40 seconds here if it's repeating the last pattern that we had from SN8. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely stunning. It's venting away, coming down. It's going to be really fast, so pay attention here. When it gets down to the bottom, it's going to kick. So all of a sudden, all the vents are going to kick it vertical. The engines are going to kick on at the same time. And then it's going, I think two of the engines will kick on at the same time, and it will it will try to stick the landing. Oh gosh, they got to be getting close now. Oh my gosh, that is a fantastic view. Holy crap, from straight below. That is amazing. All right, here we go. Look at that thing coming down. That is utterly astounding to look at this. Wow. Oh, there go the engines. Kicking over. Come on, baby. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. Okay, you can see how far away serial number 10 was, but oh man. Oh gosh, it overcorrected when it came down. Oh, that is a super bummer. I was really hoping that thing was going to make it this time. I'm sort of watching delayed on my phone because this is all delayed. So, okay. So it did it. One, it lit. And then, yeah, it overshot. And then it just fell down. So it kind of it was going like this. And then it overshot. And then it just kept falling. And it couldn't get itself upright. They really are waiting till the last minute. So, yeah, 6 minutes and 26 seconds. I guess we're going to get to see serial number 10 launch. That will, and that's the one that's next to it over there. Once they clean up, we should be able to see another launch. People were talking about if serial number 9 worked and they stuck the landing, that there was a really good chance that serial number 10 was going to be delayed for a long time while they checked out everything. But, oh man, I was really kind of hoping, I don't know if we've got any kind of... It's a mess. Whatever it is, it definitely is a mess. It didn't do so well. Oh gosh. Let's see. Sorry, I know I was ignoring messages like crazy. Pointing down, looks to be falling faster. Stream lag exploded. That's it, folks. Oh, bye-bye, SpaceX. All right, so we lost our SpaceX feed. Let's go back to here. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so now I can try to catch up with some people's questions. Yes, Sandmac, they for sure definitely overcorrected this time, which is weird because the last time they had it right. I wonder if the helium pressurization, or if it just seemed like it was just way too much like power as it started to go over. And I only thought I saw one engine actually running there. We'll have to see what happens in terms of video replays and of it and everything, but wow, that was impressive. Rubik's 13 RUD, rapid unscheduled deconstruction. Or disassembly, sorry. So, okay, sorry everybody. I know it's been absolutely nuts trying to, okay, SpaceX stream, T-minus 2:30, YouTube SpaceX stream, they're live in 2 minutes. Okay, sorry. Does anybody know exactly what the FAA dinged? Oh, yes, ABL, that is a good question. So apparently what happened is, and I don't know what they meant by this, but they violated safety protocols on SN8. I just saw this pop up this morning. My assumption is that I think that it had to do with public safety, and probably what they did was, I know they got a little above the 10-kilometer window, and probably the explosion was a little more violent than they thought. So anyway, the FAA started doing an investigation on that, and they were forcing SpaceX to make changes to the way that they were their safety protocols around the launch. The issue with that is that it just wasn't clear. I mean, oh gosh, sorry about the lag. I'm seeing a bunch of lag on my stream. Really sorry about that. But anyway, the problem was the FAA was not being clear about the fact that they were investigating SpaceX and asking them to do specific things. It just would have been better if this was all in the public eye instead. So, Shawshank, it's awesome. I'm not going to say the middle part of that, but yes, definitely. Flying barn solo, I broken no. Yeah. Rapid disassembly, people. So when will start SN10? I have a feeling that SN10 is going to happen really soon. I just feel like since they didn't stick the landing with SN9, I think, who said that yesterday? I don't know if it was, it was the Angry Astronaut. I think he was saying, if you want to see a rapid launch of serial number 10, you should hope for an explosion with serial number 9. Not that I was hoping for that, but I have a feeling this is going to make them want to do serial number 10 very rapidly. They're going to want to fix this problem. And basically, I think every serial number between 8 and 14, I think 15 is their big plans to maybe go to orbit or something, but that 8 to 14 they have to try to figure out how to do this landing. FAA quote. Oh, thank you, Sam Mac. Yes, prior to Starship 8. So here's the actual quote from the FAA. Oh, sorry. Let me just watch for 1 second. I'm watching the Everyday Astronaut, and I want to see the very end because he's. Oh, it just cut to that. All right, hold on. Sorry, I just want to watch this for a second. I'll give you my my armchair quarterback analysis in just 1 second here. So, okay. Oh, yeah, the engine was not... Wow. It appears to me like there was a really bad light problem. So, the engine lit. It glowed yellow when it lit. It didn't, sorry, I'm just watching a replay here. So it looked like what happened is as they started doing the turn, only one engine lit. And last time, I believe 2 of them lit. And as it lit, it started to do the turn, and then the engine went out. And so without the engine gimbal, because basically what it does is it overcorrects, and then the engine gimbals, so it shoots back this way and it rights itself back up. So there was no anything coming out the bottom of the rocket there. So it definitely rapidly disassembled very, very rapidly. Hopefully we do not have any pieces of chunks of stuff going into Mexico or anything like that. But yeah, that's actually a shame because it actually looks like it appears to have done worse than it did last time. All right, sorry. I'm going to read this FAA quote that Sandmax sent. Sorry. Prior to Starship SN8 launch test launch in December, SpaceX sought a waiver to exceed the maximum public risk allowed by federal safety regulations. So somehow they were asking to either go up higher or not have people as far away. I don't know what that specifically is, but something they asked for a waiver. The FAA denied the request. SpaceX proceeded with the flight, apparently with the exceeding the maximum public safety risk. As a result of this non-compliance, the FAA required SpaceX to conduct an investigation of the incident. All testing that could affect public safety at the Boca Chica, Texas launch site was suspended until the investigation was completed and the FAA approved the company's corrective actions to protect public safety. So that's cool. You got to respect protecting public safety. The corrective actions arising from the SN8 incident are incorporated into SN9 launch license. So all of that is very, very fine. The problem I think people are having is that it just wasn't communicating. I'm watching another replay. They had two engines light, but then both of them went out. Yes. So that's exactly what happened. So I'm just watching yet another replay. It looks like what happened was both engines lit for a second. One of them went out almost immediately, which probably they might have been able to actually solve it with just one engine. But then the other one went out. And of course, at that point, there's no way to correct. So this is what they're doing here is in the Earth's atmosphere, they could easily turn it upright and give themselves a huge margin of error in order to be able to land correctly, but they're trying to figure out how to do this on Mars or the moon or something like that, where they have to do this at the last second. So I guess it wouldn't be the moon because you couldn't use aero braking, but anyway. But they're trying to work this out so that they can do it at the last possible second. So we're seeing one engine lit, and the other one was just kind of just sitting there poking out those like little poofs of flame. And then the second one came on briefly, but there were like explosions coming out of it. And then as it turned, yeah. So it looks like one of the two engines actually worked okay. The second engine was causing all kinds of problems and not working right. And then both of them flamed out. So it went over vertical. They both became, I guess, engine rich. It looked like they started to burn some of the engine. And then the second engine flamed out. So, so yeah, at that point, it depends. The rocket depends on the engine gimbaling to stop it and keep it from overcorrecting. And that's exactly what happened. So unfortunately, that's it. So anyway, I hope that helps with the FAA thing. I think the problem that people had, I don't have any problem with the FAA making sure the public is safe, right? There's no issue with that. The issue that I have is to make sure that that the FAA is communicating with the public, and it's also SpaceX's fault too, because it sounds like SpaceX was in communication with them, and they could have potentially also said, "Hey, we're working on this problem." So it was an overall lack of communication with the public. So anyway, all right, it was faster than landing. Shawshank, you are absolutely correct because. I believe because, again, there were no actual rockets firing at the end. With SN8, it came really, really close, and it just ran out of pressure on the propellant feeds at the last second. Here, we had a much larger problem in terms of restarting the engines. So, Eugen, sorry, I don't read Cyrillic. I don't read Russian, but hey, sorry. If anybody can translate that, I would be very happy. Or is that... Yeah, I think that's anyway. Landing wasn't the main concern for Fedora. That is true, Fedora, but I think that they really do want to stick this landing. I think they're very invested in trying to figure out how to do this very last minute corrective motion and how to get the pressure feeding correctly. So again, it probably wasn't the engine's fault. It probably had to do with the header tanks and how they were pressurized and how much, propellant was getting to the rocket engines. Excuse me. Let's see. Falcon 1. Okay, Shawshank. Falcon 1 got successful on the 4th attempt. Yes, that is correct. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, folks. So we can expect at least 3 to 4 crashes in Starship tests. Space is hard. Absolutely. You are absolutely right, Shawshank. Carlo Herman, hey. Hi, nice to see you from Patreon. How much does this test cost? Ooh, I wish I actually had an answer for that question. Does anybody know? I mean... It's probably really tough to figure out even how to answer that question because they're not kind of into mass production, but you got to take account of 3 very expensive rocket engines, 1 very expensive prototype rocket, but of course the rocket they weren't planning on using again anyway, so, or maybe once more or something. So that's a little bit of a wash, but I think the fuel costs are probably pretty minimal, but the big cost is probably the rocket engines more than the body because they could reuse those rocket engines. So I mean, in the tens, at least $10 million. I would have to think it would have to be at least that much, but it's so hard to know because all this stuff is so early on and they're not really revealing prices yet. I think once we get to like Falcon 9 level where they're launching sort of continuously and they're publishing prices for how much they charge people and everything, then we'll probably have a better sense. But it's difficult. Yeah, Dan Cobb is saying on Discord that engines would be the biggest loss. And absolutely they are, because one of the problems is they just don't have enough engines right now. They're not able to build them fast enough. So that's a pretty significant problem. Stefan S. or Stefan S., one of the two. Hard to tell, right? They're burning capital but making money with launches. Absolutely. Stefan says, keep in mind the whole stuff is automated with local AI. They need to optimize everything. Fuel, pressure, oxygen amount, etc. So that's a huge thing. And the parameters are tried out now by trial and error. Yes. So what they've done is, I'm sure they've done a ton of simulations, but as we all know who've done simulations on computers, simulations work okay, but there's nothing like real world data. And obviously we've got some real world data that has caused less than stellar results. How's that? Shawshank, less than 10 million, maybe. I don't know. It's just so hard to tell because all of these things are prototypes and they're being kind of hand built right now. So they're probably very expensive. 2 to 3 million in labor and material. Yeah, I have a feeling, again, the engines, even if it's not monetary, I think that Tronicum... Oh, Tronicum is Stefan. So it's Stefan, right? With a 2 to 3 million or sub 5 million, in my opinion. Okay, so we're getting... I may be a little bit pessimistic, I guess, about that. Maybe less than 10 million. Maybe like 5 million or something. Again, at least we don't have the super heavy underneath it. My goodness, that would be expensive to have both of those with all the engines and everything. How much money for diesel? Daniel Chaikin started late for the flip. It is possible they did. I don't know. It looks like it was entirely something to do with the feed for the engines. They were like trying to light, but nothing was happening. Tom Dillon, serial number 9 crash landing minutes ago. Yes. Kerbal Space Program is a game. You can try it out yourself, Stefan. Yes, absolutely. By the by, just to make sure, if people are watching right now still, don't forget about Dr. Know-It-All merch. I don't have my shirt on today, sorry. I'm actually wearing a really cool shirt that somebody gave me. It's a carabiner around a mountain. It has nothing to do with my channel, but I just love it. It's a cool shirt. Anyway, coffee mug, t-shirts. Just 1 second. Tumbler. This is a really cool one. I love this tumbler. Yep. So don't forget about merch stuff. I also started super chats today. I enabled that on my channel. I don't know if anybody took advantage of that. I apologize. If anybody happened to super chat while I was watching the launch, forgive me because I would have completely missed it. But if you did super chat me, thank you so much. And if you want to super chat, that's awesome. I appreciate that. It should pop up someplace on my live feed. And hopefully the people on Discord, if nothing else, will catch it so they can see it. But, but anyway, yeah, I really appreciate everybody watching. Obviously, with the problems going on, we will have more awesome live streams to get this all working out. I'm going to preemptively guess that somebody is going to ask me this question, which is, when will serial number? I think somebody already did, but a date, picking a date. I will say I expect them to take probably the rest of this week to clean up serial number 9 because there's going to be a lot of garbage around. Hopefully nothing punctured serial number 10. If you look at it, they're, fairly far apart, so hopefully no piece of flying shrapnel hit serial number. Oh, Dan, thank you. And Stefan, both of you, thank you. $5 and €5. Yeah, there we go. Thank you for my first super chats. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. And also thank you so much for being on Discord and really helping out. That I really appreciate that. Stefan is going for the tumbler. The tumbler is awesome, by the way. The tumbler is vacuum sealed, and it's sort of like a Yeti, except you don't have to pay the name brand for the Yeti. But it's generally just as good as that, and I love it. I keep having to remember to bring it up here because I guess I just need to buy another one because that way I can use one and have another one as a prop back here. So that is super awesome. Shawshank can't buy the merchandise. I don't think. Yes, Shawshank, that is a problem. We're trying to work on that. It actually will deliver overseas, but it's like the shipping charges are like outrageous. They're like more than the products themselves. So Dan and I are working on trying to figure out how to do overseas shipping. My apologies. There's a lot of people around the world who watch me, and I wish I wish that I had some way to fix that problem easily, but whew, man, shipping packages is no joke. It's quite expensive. So yeah, I wish I could do that. Hopefully we will get that resolved. And if we do, I will definitely, I'll talk about it. I'll make sure that I discuss that. So, Stefan, it was a very fun ride to support you. I only had one screen in Berlin. I would have had more screen space. Where are you right now? Daniel, Got a question. Should SpaceX send 2 Tesla 3 hybrid magnets to float in orbit to create an artificial magnetic field to stop radiation and then recreate photosynthesis to build up? Whew. I assume you're talking around Mars. Daniel, I have a feeling that might be a mistake to try to do that around Earth. But 2 Tesla 3s. Carlo, thank you so much for the 550 euros. Wow, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Daniel, I'm trying to get my head around this entire thing. So around Mars, of course, Mars does not have a magnetic field, so that is a significant issue. So obviously we need some sort of magnetic field, and I just don't know if. I think what I've seen is actually something more like a shield, a magnetic shield, like that you wouldn't put around orbit of Mars, but put in the Mars-Sun Lagrange point. So basically it would stay there. So basically, okay, so you have, let's see if I can get this right. Mars, you have the place where this shield would be, a magnetic shield, and then you have the sun way over here. So basically you place it in a gravitational place that's neutral, and it would act as like an umbrella so that the magnetic particles streaming from the sun would get blocked. The problem with that, of course, is that you've also got all sorts of things happening from the solar system, not the solar system, the galaxy, and from intergalactic. So magnetic fields are the lack of a magnetic field around Mars is a huge issue, and of course, for terraforming, they're going to have to fix that problem. So, oh, Carlo, unfortunately, it says mesh is retracted. So you can ask me, I guess you can ask me regularly if that's the thing. I'm not exactly sure why it retracted your message. Steph, oh, Bavaria. Oh, lovely place. I guess not so many screens is the problem. So, recreate photosynthesis to build up the atmosphere. So, gosh. I should maybe do an episode on that at some point. And it's not like I have a huge amount of knowledge of this. I mean, I've read a whole bunch of science fiction, but science fiction is science fiction. I think part of the problem of terraforming Mars is the scale. Like, we basically have a vacuum on Mars. Like, it's just enough atmosphere not to count as a vacuum. And so, there's barely enough there. In fact, it's just enough to cause all kinds of problems with spaceships trying to land on Mars, but not nearly enough for actual pressurization of anything. So I think is it I think it's 0.1%. So like 1/10 of 1% of Earth's atmosphere at sea level. So, basically like where we would be if we were just on the edge of space, right? If we'd gone up to like 100 kilometers or 60 miles, somewhere around there is approximately what Mars's atmosphere is. So just enough to be detectable, but not enough to be useful. So the problem with that is that in order to generate atmosphere, we number one need to have some sort of magnetic field because we want to protect the atmosphere that we do produce, because one of the problems with Mars is that the atmosphere gets stripped off by all of the high energy particles that are streaming towards it from the sun, but also from interstellar space. So that's a problem. You need to fix that problem. And then the other thing is you need to find atmosphere from someplace. At the beginning, it doesn't really matter what it is. And that's why, there's the Nuke Mars t-shirts that are really hysterical. But it's not that much of a joke, because you could actually set off a bunch of nuclear weapons to hopefully just take a bunch of dirt and whatever is in the Martian soil and kind of vaporize that, right? And turn that into atmosphere. And if you did that enough times, now disregarding the fact that you're going to irradiate the entire planet, I for one am convinced that there's life on Mars, so I think that's going to be even harder, because there will be laws in place to protect the microbial life. I think there's going to be little microbes there hanging out under the surface. So all of this assumes that that's not the case. But anyway, if they do explode these nuclear weapons, they can vaporize this stuff and try to turn it into atmosphere. But I mean, are we talking hundreds or thousands of nuclear weapons that you'd have to set off? So you're going to have completely radioactive atmosphere, and you're going to have to transport hundreds to thousands of nuclear weapons over interstellar space and set them off on Mars. That seems like a problematic situation. So if anybody else, I don't know if anybody else has looked at these world building scenarios, but I don't know how else you get atmosphere into the atmosphere. That's the problem. Carlo, thank you. Yes, that's okay. I have actually never done a super chat myself either. I'm going to go do that right like when we get done with this live chat, or at some point when I watch a live chat, I'm going to go and do a super chat just to practice from the other end because I haven't tried it out myself. But thank you so much for sticking with it there. Daniel, yes, that's the only downfall. And Stefan, thanks Carlos. They both got through. Oh, excellent. There you go. All right, cool. So let's see. 69 viewers, 40 thumbs up. Good quota. Another super chat. Sandmax says, yes, good engagement. All right. Yes, we are definitely in the after launch segment. Interestingly enough, 81 people are watching now, which I think was more than were watching before. And I know that's because I don't have my own live stream. Sorry. One of these days when I grow this channel to 100,000 viewers or something, you better believe I'll be going to Florida and Texas and watching these things live, because that is a bucket list thing for sure. I guess if anybody wants to put anything towards it, like super chat wise, you guys can, you can put it towards my Dr. Know-It-All going to Texas fund or something, or going to Florida fund. So anyway, I would love to go watch one of these things live for sure. Okay, Daniel, what happens if aliens take the ship full of nukes? All right, Daniel, I will tell you this. If there are aliens that can come here and can intercept our ship with all of its nukes on it, those aliens are probably so advanced that they will think of nukes as a child's toy. So they won't be particularly interested in all those nukes. But they might just take them to keep us from hurting ourselves. I guess that might be the option right there. That's a great comment. All right. So, I don't know if there's other questions or anything like that. And, we get back. I'm sorry. I meant to give you guys a date for serial number 10. So let's see. I'm thinking serial number 10. So like I said, like another 3 or 4 days to clean up the mess of this other one, and also to try to figure out what the hell's going on. So let's say 4 days to clean up the mess, a week to figure out what's going on. Now that may be a little bit pessimistic. They may know exactly what's the matter right now. Oh, Stefan, thank you. Thank you for the 10 euros. Awesome. Yeah, that's from my Going to Texas fund. You are officially the first Going to Texas donation. Thank you. Of course, I got to get the vaccine first, so I'm safe to do that. But as soon as we get the vaccine, I'm definitely going to be looking at going to Texas. So thank you. I guess I'll just need to ask for that, like on these live streams, and be like, send me to Texas. Send me the Texas fund. I don't know if that's a good thing. It's sort of like sending me to the gulag or something. No, I love Texas. Texas is an awesome state. Anyway, so 3 days, let's say, to clean up the mess, a week to fix the problem. So that's 10 days, or figure out what the problem is. Another couple of, I'm going to put it at 15 days. So it's the 2nd right now. So I'm just going to call it right now and say February 17th. Now I should probably check and see. Oh, I don't have my calendar up right now. Let me take a look. Because if that's a weekend, there's a good chance it wouldn't happen on a weekend. Let's just take a look. The 15th is a Monday. Yes, I'm going to go for, 17th. So I'm going to say 15th through 17th, that week. That's my guess for when it's actually going to happen. So, by the way, we got 69 viewers right now. That's awesome. Oh no, Daniel, why not get the vaccine? I wear masks everywhere. It sucks wearing a mask. Although, actually, I'll be wearing a mask in the future anyway, but such is life. All right. Let's go to Texas. 10 to 14 days in good weather. Yes, Tronicum. Okay, so good. So Tronicum on Discord is in agreement with me. I think we're right around the same time period. I'm thinking like 15 days. Oh, too bad. You're on the Autobahn on the 14th, so there we go. All right. Probably a Saturday or Sunday. Oh, so you think they actually will launch on a Saturday or Sunday? I would think that they would launch on a Saturday, but I don't think that they would launch on a Sunday. It just seems like they kind of try to give people a little bit of time off. I don't know. Elon Musk is pretty much of a, keeping him going, but it seems like they do try to stand down a little bit on Sundays. So that would be nice if they at least got 1 day a week off. My goodness. All right. Okay, so let's see. Shawshank, don't forget FAA, guys. Oh, right, that's true. Well, how long did it take? So we had middle of December. So 1 month, we had 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. We had about 6 or 7 weeks between the last 2 tests. But serial number 10 is already sitting there. So 6 weeks, half that, 3 weeks, that'd be 21 days. Yeah, I think again, weather permitting and the FAA permitting. Hopefully SpaceX did not violate any regulations this time. If that's the case, then they should be able to take off more quickly. But anyway, we will see. Why didn't they use drogue chutes? Would have been 2 of them at 1,500 meters. They have the ability to cycle to third engine if second doesn't go off. Well, again, part of the issue... Oh, wow, I'm watching the slow motion replay. It is impressive to watch all the pieces go flying. I think that chutes are just not really an option for the Starship because of multiple reasons. Number one is because of how they're trying to land. And again, just like the Falcon booster trying to land, they want to do it entirely propulsively, but also chutes are just not going to be functional on Mars. This is a really, really heavy ship, and the tiny amount of atmosphere in Mars, the chutes wouldn't even slow it down at all. So they've got to figure out how to do this in order to land on Mars. So in other words, this is I don't know if you guys remember in 2015 or I think it was 2015 when they landed the first time, the Falcon 9 booster came back. It was an absolutely stunningly huge moment, and honestly, that's what's going to happen with the Starship. If it does this crazy suicide flip turn landing maneuver, that is going to be just as stunningly big a moment as, you know, as the landing of the Falcon 9, and perhaps bigger, because it starts to make our future on Mars look more like a possibility. So it's pretty amazing. So I think that's why they don't use chutes. It's just too heavy and just not really workable for that. So thank you for the question though, Nuya. Lolkex, can somebody send me the link to your Discord? Oh, Lolkex, that is a Patreon exclusive. You can look in the description and find the Patreon link. I don't have any levels because I understand what it's like not to have a lot of money. So basically you can join for $1 or €1 or whatever it is your currency is, but it doesn't have to be anything. It's just one of those things that I have as a special thank you for my Patreon patrons. So that's where the Discord link is, and I will send you that if you join on Patreon. So thank you if you do. I appreciate that. Stefan, yeah, they need to do some paperwork. TPS reports if you've seen the great movie Office Space. Yes, absolutely. They definitely need to do paperwork. There will be much paperwork. Sandy Campbell, 100 million pounds. Is that, Sandy Campbell, is that your, message retract. I was just wondering if that was your guess for how much it costs to do one of these launches. I hope it's not that much. My goodness. They'll go bankrupt if they have to do that. Shawshank, it's too heavy to use drogue chutes. Yes, exactly. And Nuya, I guess that makes sense due to Mars. Yes. Cool. And Lokex, yes, absolutely. Okay. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for understanding that. I don't like to reject people or anything like that. And I certainly want our Discord channel to be very open, but at the same time, it's something nice that I can do. And the lovely folks on Discord are being so wonderful. They're really helping out. Sandbank says on Discord, there are people who get days off. Yeah. I don't believe anybody at Tesla or probably most people at SpaceX ever get days off. Who knows if they even get vacation days? My goodness. These people all work super, super hard. Shawshank, are you going to be live during Perseverance landing? Oh, yeah, let's do that. I will plan to be... Obviously, that'll be interesting because I'll be waiting with everybody else. What is it, 21 minute delay between Mars and the Earth? So, I'll be hanging out, and either the ship will have landed properly or it will have exploded by the time we even find out. But I love that idea. Yes, I will plan to do that now. I hadn't been planning on that, and the good part about that is we know exactly when it's going to happen. So that's an easy one. We just can set our calendars for it. So excellent. Sandy Campbell, yeah, Starship is super heavy. Oh, I get it. Oh. So, if anybody hasn't seen the Super Heavy and how big it is compared to the Starship, you should go look. I don't have it up right now. Oh, it'd be really good if I had a picture of the high bay. So I'm not sure if I can do that. Anyway, sorry, you can go look it up. But if you look at the mid bay, so the main grounds of SpaceX, there's a mid bay, which is where they build the Starship, and there's a high bay where they build the Super Heavy. And if you look at the difference between the height of those two buildings, it's pretty astounding. Like double the height of the Starship, I think, a little bit more than double the height. So this whole thing together, when they actually stack all of this, is going to be mind-blowingly huge. For real. Stefan, what date is the landing planned? I don't know. I actually... let me see if I can... Hold on, guys. Does anybody have that? If anybody has that... Sorry, it's a little difficult. I've got all my computers being used right now. Oh, Tim Dodd is about to tweet a clip of the engine blowing up before it landed. So the engine actually, Jimmy Jones. So I've been trying to sort of watch the replays. So he actually sees in the replay that the engine itself exploded before it landed. Yikes, that's really not good. I definitely saw it puffing out. Like one of the engines was working and the other engine was just kind of going puff, puff, puff like that. And it wasn't igniting properly, which was obviously a big problem. But obviously if it exploded, that would explain why the other engine went out. It didn't have anything to do. So let me go. Let me go Perseverance landing date. Aha. Here we go. February 18th. Perseverance landing date is February 18th. So, yes, we will make a date for that. That will be awesome. I can't wait. I'm looking for... Haven't seen the clip. If anybody wants to send the clip onto Discord so I can take a look at it, that would be awesome. A chunk blew out when the second engine fired. Oh, interesting. Thank you, Shawshank. Yep. With my little delay going on here, we actually answered just about the same time. And Sandmake, thank you also for that, too. Can you do overlays? Tronicum, I can do overlays. It's a little complicated with OBS because I have to go out and I have to find the web page and then I have to load the web page and I have to stick it on here. So it's one of those 21:30 Tuesday in Berlin. Okay, so I guess the 18th is a Tuesday then? Is that what I'm seeing? Good time to cover the stream for me here. Oh, excellent. Great. And let's see, 21:30 for you would be... oh gosh, it's going to come right around the same time for me again. It always seems to come right in the middle of the day, of the afternoons on Tuesdays for me. All right, anyway, I will work it out. We will definitely have that. I think that's awesome to do the Perseverance landing. Super cool. We'll talk about it. And then by the time we actually find out any data that comes in, I believe they're actually supposed to have camera data this time. I don't know if it's going to be a live stream of the camera data, but I believe they're going to have much better indicators, telemetry that's going to be coming back while it's landing this time. So we should actually be able to watch, again, 20-minute delay or so, but we'll be able to watch the entire thing, the telemetry, and see how it's doing. Hopefully not crashing, hopefully landing, because I really want to see Perseverance do its mission. I'm super excited about that. All right. Oh, just to make an overlay of my Patreon link. Yes. The Patreon link is... Let's see. I'm sure I can do that. Sorry. I want some text. All right. I hope I've got this right. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Sorry, I'm working on this. I can't type. There we go. Excellent. Okay. Helvetica is fine. Color. Select color. Let's see if that actually worked. Oh, well, now I can't see it at all. That's unfortunate. Really? Oh, wow. There we go. Let me shrink this down just a bit. Looks a little bit on the giant text width. Oh my goodness. Sorry, this is the first time I messed with text. Custom text width, no. I am not seeing... oh, here we go. All right, let me make this a wee bit smaller. It's a little on the giant size right now. Boop. Nope, still too big. Okay, sorry. Working on it. Yeah. Okay, let me make it a little bit less insane. There we go. All right. I'll put it up at the top for now. That's actually great. Thank you all so much. That's a great idea to put the text link there. So, okay. Shawshank, I have got my name on Perseverance. I'm going to Mars with 1 million other people. Woohoo! I'm pretty sure I do too. I definitely have it on. Oh gosh, what's the next one? I can't remember the current one that has the little silicone wafer. Anyway, so yeah, that's awesome. I honestly can't remember if I did mine or not. So wow, thank you, thank you, Tronicum or Stefan, either way. So people are driving. Yes, okay. So SpaceX. So let's see. I wonder if anybody has any specific questions, but I guess my next thought about SpaceX is when they're going to launch the Super Heavy. And if I'm remembering correctly, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that Super Heavy is on the order of, I think they only need like 6 of the Raptor engines in order to test launch it, because obviously they're not going to fill it. You know, if the whole thing has to get filled with propellant, they only need to fill a tiny little bit of it to test it going up and down. Now, I think that the Super Heavy is actually going to be, assuming they can build it, because it's really big, but assuming they can build it, I believe the Super Heavy will be easier to test because, again, remember, it's got the grid fins just like the Falcon 9. And so that will allow it to land like the Falcon 9, where it has like a dart. You know, if you imagine if you throw a dart, it's got those little fins on the back and it keeps it all sort of like organized and up and down, and it doesn't have to do that insane like flip movement at the last possible second. So I believe that the Super Heavy should actually be easier for SpaceX to figure out how to land than the Starship. So I think that hopefully with luck, they won't lose any of them, but they can also, I believe because the Raptors can deep throttle better and the ship is generally heavier, that they will actually be able to hover. So if you've seen the Blue Origin landing, Blue Origin is actually able to hover their new Shepard, and it comes down and it can like move around and target the spot on the landing spot. So I believe that they're going to be able to do that with the Super Heavy booster as well. So I think that's going to be a significantly simpler process to land the Super Heavy booster, even though it's a much, much bigger rocket. So there we go. All right. Stefan, do you know how long they need to build one Raptor engine? I actually just found out about that. They, man, I apologize. It looks like my microphone's got like really hot right now. Sorry about that. But I think that the latest is about 1 per week. So I was looking at a schedule and trying to figure out like how long it was going to take them to launch things to orbit, etc. And the latest that I heard was 1 Raptor engine per week, which is pretty impressive, but they need to be doing a whole bunch. Carter Spencer, bye, have an amazing day, everybody. Bye, Carter. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Yes, Tronicum on Discord is saying maybe it ran out of oxygen depending on the color of the burn. I'm looking at it right now in a slow motion replay. And it looks like, yeah, I don't know. I was definitely, one of the engines was definitely showing that sort of semi-clear pinkish flame with the Mach cones coming out the back. And so that was looking good. And the other engine was just poofing out like kind of yellow puffs of smoke, or not smoke, but yellow puffs of something. And then I don't know if it exploded and caused the other engine to go out, but at the end they both turned very, very yellow. And last time, if I remember correctly, they turned green, which was because there was too much oxygen and not enough methane in the feed. And so it started to actually burn the engine away. The oxygen started to eat the engine as it was flowing through it. And this time it looked much, much more yellow, which I guess could be fuel rich this time. It's possible it's exactly the opposite. It might have been fuel rich as opposed to oxygen rich this time. So we will find out. So I'm not sure. Okay, thank you, Stefan, for letting me know the sound is okay. It's just I'm peaking out on my metering system. It's going up to like 0 dB. So this is just a, you know, I've got a really nice microphone for when I do my pre-recorded stuff, but this is just a relatively consumer grade one. So it's supposed to automatically correct itself. So I just wanted to make sure it was. Stefan, if you haven't, just super chat or use Discord so we can research it for you. Cool. Yes, actually, good statement about that. So again, I'm sort of watching some slow motion. Yeah, let me see. Sorry, let me catch quick. Interesting. Okay. So Yeah, so if you saw when it was landing, the one engine, if you look at the slow motion, what I'm talking about Mach cones is at the back end. I need to get myself a little rocket model back here. That's what I need with like the little engines and stuff on it. Anyway, on the back end, the engine bell, as it comes out of that, it's traveling subsonically in the combustion chamber, and then it expands to supersonic as it goes out the engine bell, and then the atmosphere actually compresses that down. So it's a supersonic flow that compresses down, and then it opens back up again and compresses down and opens back up again, etc., etc. Ooh, sorry, got a phone thing. But anyway, so that's what the Mach cones are. It's squeeze down, up, squeeze down, up, squeeze down, up, squeeze down, up, like that. And so you see that as it's going supersonic and getting squished and going subsonic, I believe, and supersonic. So it's kind of flowing back and forth between those two. So it's a really interesting interaction with the atmosphere causing the Mach cones to happen. But that was happening out of one of the two engines as it was starting to land. As soon as it lit, that one engine was golden. The other engine was not happy at all. And it's unclear, maybe a turbo pump didn't work properly, or maybe the fuel lines got clogged, or maybe there wasn't enough fuel for that particular engine. It's unclear at this point. We'll have to wait for Elon or somebody to tell us what's going on. But Stefan has a 3D printed version of serial number 8 you can print. Yes, that would be awesome. At school I have a just a standard plastic wire printer thing, but that would be awesome. Yes, thank you. Send me the what is it, STL file? If you send me the STL file, I would be very happy to print out one and have that on hand. So, and actually in the meantime, I could probably just go to like Walmart or something and just buy like a kid's toy rocket, because at least they have the engine bell that looks correct. But I also, if anybody happens to have an STL file of like the Raptor or the Falcon engines, like just the engines themselves, not the whole rocket, because the engines are just fascinatingly complex, I would love to have one of those too. So yes, thank you for sending me the STL file. That'd be awesome. Shawshank, gravity would be a big concern for these kinds of landing attempts. Yes, absolutely. It's very. The reason why there are header tanks is because the actual fuel. So think about it. If this thing's loaded up, there's an oxygen tank and there's a methane tank, and they're both completely full at the beginning. But as it goes up, of course, they drain very, very rapidly. That's the whole point. They burn through all of their fuel, and as they burn through the fuel, the tanks get lighter and lighter, but also the what's left in there starts sloshing around. And so then it falls sideways, and that's a problem because now it's sideways. So that means all the fuel that's left is on the bottom, just sort of sloshing around, which is why, again, I think when they reach the apogee of their flights, they are venting fuel. They're just like, just throwing propellant out the side of these test flights because they're not using it all, and they want to make sure that the rocket is as light as possible as it comes down to land. Probably also for safety reasons, because the less stuff there is to combust, the less it's going to explode. But anyway, as it comes down, all of the fuel is down in the bottom. The header tanks, on the other hand, are just little balls of propellant, of oxygen and methane, and those currently are being pressurized by helium. They're supposed to be eventually pressurized autogenously, which means using some of the off-gassing of the actual main tanks to pressurize the little baby tanks. So the header tanks are little baby tanks, and all they have is just enough propellant in them to land. So they basically have just enough so it can light the engines, turn on its side, and come down and land. So, 20-30 seconds worth of fuel. It doesn't have a lot, but it's got enough to make the landing, and that's all it needs. And those things, because they're completely full of fuel when they start, doesn't matter what orientation, right? If you take a bottle of water and you get rid of the air bubble at the top, you can turn that bottle any way and it's got water in it. It doesn't make any difference. What you don't want is just a little bit full bottle of water with the fuel like sloshing around at the bottom. That's the issue. So the STL file is on Discord. Thank you. I will grab that as soon as I get done here. Shawshank, it's like a whole different universe physics happening in fuel tanks. Shawshank, you are absolutely right. Have you ever watched Apollo documentaries? They had the worst problem with the Saturn V was just getting the fuel injection correct into the combustion chamber. So they have this huge ring that has all kinds of little holes that they basically experimentally had to figure out where to put the holes to keep from having all kinds of combustion instabilities inside the fuel chamber. Absolutely nuts how they had to do all this stuff. But anyway, but the other thing is, if you ever watch some of those films that they've digitized from those flights, and some SpaceX flights too, sometimes they show us this stuff, but they'll have a camera inside the fuel tank, and you'll see that the tank looks like liquid, because even though it's like oxygen or something like that, it under, you know, very cryogenic temperatures and under pressure, it looks like liquid, and it'll be kind of like just doing this kind of thing on the bottom, and then like when the rocket cuts off, it all like kind of just explodes, and it's all these little dots fluttering around inside the fuel tank as it goes. I'm watching one more slow motion replay here. So we definitely had one good rocket light. I see the Mach cones, and it was the one engine was running until the very end. So there was definitely flame coming out of one engine until the end. It was it was not enough to do whatever it needed to do, and it looked like it was kind of weak. It didn't really look like a super duper flame coming out the back. Let me see if I can rewind this just the teeniest bit. It's so hard to do that with these live streams. Okay, let me go back just a little further. My apologies. I'm watching The Everyday Astronaut, by the way, if you want to go and check it out and see what I'm looking at. But as it comes down, okay, so sorry, I'm just watching this in replay as close as I can. We've got one of the, so one of the engine's lights, and we definitely, a very nice Mach cone coming out of the back of that. And, okay, sorry, I backed up too far, now I gotta wait. Dan Cobb, there are really cool videos from the inside the Apollo tanks. Yes, Dan Cobb, you are absolutely right. They are super cool, and it's utterly amazing to look at how complicated fluids are when you've got half air and half of a fluid inside there, and they're all mixing around. And by the way, weirdly enough, coincidentally, I'm teaching this tonight to one of my classes. We're doing 3D animation and fluid effects, and a lot of this stuff has to do with the way that air and fluids mix, and it's absolutely utterly fascinating to see how those things are happening in a simulation. This is just in a 3D animation simulation, but it's amazing to see how that goes. Okay, sorry, I'm watching Tim Dot again here. Okay, so as it starts the flip maneuver, we get two for just a second. We get two. Oh, they both kind of peter out. Yeah. So we had really big flames, but then nada. And it looks to me like there are pieces of something. Absolutely. So there's a piece of something that as the engines lit, something went like that and then blew off the side of the ship. And that obviously is what's causing what I'm assuming what that did was it kind of blew up. Let me see if I can catch this one more time. I assume that whatever that was that like hit, it was either the engine exploding or a fuel pump exploding or something like that. So that caused all kinds of problems with it. That's just wow, what a shame. So SpaceX is going to have to go back to the drawing board a little bit on this one just to see what's going on. But yeah, so fluid dynamics, incredibly complicated, especially fluid and air dynamics. So, I mean, air is a fluid also, but two different density fluids. So you've got the liquid oxygen or liquid methane or liquid RP1 or whatever it is. And then you've got air, atmospheric air. And the two of them have to, you know, cohabit in there, and the cohabitation can cause them to swirl. It can cause some of the fluids to go up. It can cause all sorts of crazy things to happen. So it's really fascinating how all of that stuff works. And I'm going to try to catch this one more time and see if I can just catch exactly what's going on. My apologies for not being able to show you this. I wish I could. I will, you know where else to look. There's a lot of other things. Okay, so I'm going to watch this. Again, I'm watching The Everyday Astronaut, and I just went back in time. So where does the explosion happen? There it is, right there. Okay, so just after the turn, it's bright there for a second, and then something blows off the end, and then, oh yeah, and then the flames, they completely lose pressure at that point. So whatever that was, there's a little thing, and it's probably big thing, because it's, you know, if you can see it from this distance, something that looks like a kind of a square sheet of steel or something, maybe part of the engine, I'm not sure. Oh, nice. Do an overlay with PhD. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yes. Okay, let me look on Discord. I'm gonna show you this fuel tank thing a little bit. So All right. Let me see if I can overlay that. But anyway, yeah, there's something that clearly came blowing off the edge of the of the rocket right as it lit its engine. So let me just grab this YouTube video here. All right, and let me load it in here. Slowly but surely, I'm getting better at this. I promise. Okay. And let me... Okay. And... Oops. All right. So this may not be quite this... There we go. Okay, excellent. So yeah, so I guess it looks like we're inside a Saturn 1. So this isn't the Saturn 5, but that's fine. So you can see how the tank is draining. See if I can interact with that. Okay. Yeah. So you can see the fluids inside there, and you can also see those little holes that are around the edge. That's what I was talking about. This is a Saturn 1. This is like the predecessor to the Saturn 5. But this was like the experimental rocket that they used. But you can see all the fluids kind of marching their way down, and they have those holes or baffles inside to keep the liquid from sloshing around too much. And then it should, when the engine cuts off, let's see. I'm waiting. I think it should hopefully... still seeing it going down. At some point, the engine should cut off, and you should see the fluid come like blowing back up towards us, because basically it's being pressed down, and then it's released, and so it kind of explodes upwards. It's not exploding. It's just the pressure on it causes it to come leaping back up again. But all of those little hole things and all those like different... So the inside of a fuel tank is not just a giant emptiness. It's got a whole bunch of baffles and all sorts of other things to control the flow of the fluid as it goes. And it should be... Yeah, this is almost the end. So I'm hoping that this video captures the very end when it kind of comes shooting up. There it is. You see that? Oh, that's so cool. So that's when the engine's cut off, all of a sudden, all of that liquid that was under pressure and compressed comes flying back up, and then it atomizes. So that's pretty nifto. Yeah, pretty neat. Okay. All right. Don't need to watch that. That's all good. I'll turn that off. There we go. So yeah, hopefully that helped to explain it a little bit. Oh man, everybody's pulling up the old school stuff. I love all of these old school video, or not videos, they were films back at that point, but they're absolutely amazing, and they really go into a lot of detail. If you want to know all about like re-entry corridors and stuff, there's the most amazing Apollo video that was before any of the landings or anything happened, but they basically show the entire route to the moon and how it comes back, and how the Apollo capsule is actually a flying wing of some sort, because it's a blunt body. And the blunt body, you can turn it by rotating it, because the center of mass is not the center of friction. So basically you can turn the rocket, or turn the capsule, sorry, this is just a little command module that came back at the end. By turning the capsule, you could have it lift up so it would go up slightly, or you could have it pitch down, or you could have it go left and right. So it could actually do some cross range, all of with no wings, no nothing. It was an astoundingly cool vehicle that was just amazing. Let's see, what else do we have? Station. Yes, thank you. All right, quarterly, yes, absolutely. Let me do one more, and let me go back to Discord. There's some really, really cool stuff. I don't know what this... I'm trying to look for ones that have really cool visuals here. Bulkhead tooling and fabrication. Ah, here we go. Yeah, that's kind of fascinating. So let's take a look at this, and we will probably call it quits shortly after that, but let me bring this up, because this is all just super cool stuff. All right, here we go. This, okay. So yeah, Marshall Space Flight Center. And there we go. So this would be about building just the bulkhead, which is just the thing that separates the different elements of the fuel tank. So, question from Shawshank: we can use piston-like mechanical structure inside fuel tanks instead of pressurizing the tank. It would avoid sloshing. Oh, interesting question. Yeah, Shawshank, that I believe would work, But the problem is I would imagine it would be heavier. I think that's probably the issue. And also a piston takes up space. So if you think about it, like a piston has to have some width, but then again, the baffles also have some width. That's an interesting question. I imagine that somebody at least thought about doing that. But, okay, so think about a piston. You've got a couple of options here. And I'm talking about just if we have a very thin plate that goes down the length of this thing to pressurize it the whole time. What is going to drive that piston? Number one, you could have a hydraulic system, which means you have to have liquid, which is heavy, and you have to have a pump system, which is heavy, and you have to use that to push it down. The second option is to use something like helium, like a gas, which is much, much lighter, and the gas actually pressurizes the pump and pushes it down. So, that's all of those things are, wow, I just got a text that Jeff Bezos is stepping down from Amazon. Holy crap. Sorry, that's a completely tangential thing, but my wife just sent me that. So you may have heard it here first, folks. Jeff Bezos may be stepping down from Amazon. I don't know if that means he'll step down from Blue Origin or if he's going to maybe devote all of his time to Blue Origin. I don't know. Interesting. But so back to the piston thing. The problem is I don't see how you could make a piston lighter than the current system. I think that's the issue. And if you think about a rocket going up, you don't have to worry so much about the piston because not gravity, but acceleration is pushing all that fluid down. The only time it becomes a real issue is when you go to, weightlessness. So basically, as the Starship, got up to the top and the engines cut off and it started falling, then they're all kind of sloshing around. And yes, now we have a confirmation of that on Discord. Wow, Jeff Bezos is stepping down as Amazon CEO. So Amazon founder will step down from his role as chief executive later this year and transition to the role of executive chair, the company said. He will be replaced by Andy Jassy, who currently heads up the company's cloud business. Amazon Web Service, which, by the way, is where all the profits are being made. I actually have a friend who works in Amazon Web Service, and he's like, all the profit in Amazon is Amazon Web Service, which is fascinating. So I hope, Shashank, that probably, at least in my mind, explains why a piston would not be very usable, because I just don't know how you would make it lighter. And in a regular rocket that's just taking off, the fluid is going to push to the bottom anyway. Stefan, the links are on Discord if you want detailed YouTube watch recommendations from John. Yes, thank you. So there you go. So we definitely have a whole bunch of things going on. Alrighty, folks. Wow, and now I got it from Twitter too. So my wife was actually the first. Look at that. She was before Discord and before Twitter. She's rocking it right now. So anyway, you can see from this video that what we've got is Okay, so anyway, we can see from the video that that they're working on this bulkhead, and it's actually a very complicated process. All of this stuff in the 1960s was utterly new. Like, it's kind of one of those things where they had to invent we think, oh yeah, they invented the lunar module, they invented